meeting, and then we'll hand it over to the new chairperson after the election. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome all the new commissioners and congratulate you on your election. And welcome the public to our new conference room, our new meeting room. Start with roll call. Majeski.
Here.
Pittsburgh. Bainton.
Here.
Kleinhardt.
Here.
Oakley.
Here.
Osler.
Here.
Ambrositis.
Here.
Gilmore.
Here.
Haskell.
Here.
We have a quorum. Can I have a motion for approval of the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. I'll second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
I did.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I will open the floor for nominations for the chairperson.
I make the motion,
You're going to nominate, not make a motion.
I make the nomination of Jeff Haskell. Here.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for chairperson are closed? All in favor of nominating Jeff as the chairperson, say aye.
Aye.
Jeff, I hand the meeting over to you.
All right, thank you, Lori.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody, I need a motion to elect the vice chair, please.
I make a motion to elect Jesse Dale.
Got a motion, we got a second?
Second.
Who's that?
Huh?
It's gonna take me a minute to recognize the voices. Sorry, George. Okay,
Lori, what do I do, say that 3 times?
you have to say it 3 times.
Okay. Is there
Any other nominations?
any other nominations? Any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome, Dale. All right. We need to review, adopt the board rules. Everybody have a chance to review them? Any questions, discussion?
I do.
Okay,
I did put it on new business and for on the agenda, but I would like to discuss with the board a change in page 16 on the commissioner wages and per diem. So currently, commissioners are paid $8,000 a year, $8,500 for the board chair, and then they receive a per diem. The per diem can be up to $75 a day, so it's $25 a meeting, $50 a half day, up to $75. There is no consistency on turning in travel and per diem vouchers because it is pretty complicated. So sometimes they're turned in, sometimes they're not turned in, sometimes they're turned in months later. It is a process that we have to go through in administration to go through these. I think mainly because of the complexity of the voucher and the time it takes for commissioners, I would like to propose a wage for commissioners that is inclusive of per diem. So I did go to different counties and check on what they did. A lot of them do the all-inclusive wage and per diem, and it comes out to approximately $12,000 a year for each board member, $12,500 for the board chair, when you add it all together. So I am requesting that the board modify the board rules if they choose. Or the solid wage inclusive of per diem, so none of it separated at a $12,000 a year per commissioner, 12,500 for the board chair.
Or does it, that includes mileage too?
No mileage is separate.
Mileage would be separate.
Yes, in the past, there was a portion of the mileage that was taxed. And Jody and I were looking into that, and that
Mileage should not have ever been taxed.
that should not have been done. So, but anyway, that's what I would like to change this to, if the board chooses, and then I can modify the board rules and bring them back for your you can adopt it that way, and then I can modify them and send them to you to review if you'd like.
Does that number come from what other counties are doing, or then what is our average that we,
$12,000 a year.
so we fit right into
You
that?
fit right
with
into
the
that, yep.
meetings?
And then it would take away the guesswork of when commissioners turn something in and they haven't had it in for 2 months, and then we gotta go back and, you know, reestablish what they had done or what meetings they had gone to. It just simplifies it for us. You know, we were going back through, some commissioners never turn anything in. Jack, how long have you been on the board of commissioners altogether? 20 years?
No, 12 years up till now.
Jack has never turned in a sheet, never, not one time, not when he was on Enterprise Community, nothing, he never turned one in. Samantha's never turned maybe a couple in. You know, I think it's just because it is so confusing with all the different categories that you have to put on your per diem sheet, and it's a lot of work for us in the office. But this streamlines it. This is the average of what you get every year. It just makes it more simple.
Will it be a cost savings in the long run doing it this way?
It won't be a cost savings. It'll probably balance out. So if you would like to do that, I mean, discuss it. You're discussing the board rules anyway.
We need a motion to change, to make the change.
Or do,
You haven't adopted them yet, so if you're gonna change it, you could have it changed in motion to adopt with the changes, just like you would on minutes or an agenda.
I did happen to write a motion, in
well,
case you decided to do that.
How does everybody feel?
What's the increase from what we have? now?
$4,000 basically.
So 4 times 9, that's 36,000. That would pay for another position in the county.
Well, it's taking away your per diem for going to the meeting also. So supposedly, according to Lori, this averages out to where it's no more cost to the county.
So
It
it's
just
no more,
simplifies the paperwork.
right, and no more per diem, so you wouldn't have a per diem per meeting.
The only problem I could see with it would be the fact that if you've got one person that's got 25 committees and you got another person that's got 3, that would not be really fair to them. So,
But they can decline to be on a committee.
right, I would suggest the next thing on our agenda is going to be committee appointments. Why don't we go down through that? Give, especially the new commissioners, give them a feel of what's going on and what's expected. And then we'll discuss that after we do
Yeah, I
that. How's
do.
that sound?
I have it on new business, so.
Okay. So we will hold off on the adoption of board rules. Then we'll move on to committee appointments. And as per what Lori said, we looked at the vacated ones and looked at the new commissioners coming in. And we threw names in here, but if you can't make it, whatever, it's not set in stone. So I feel we should go down through here and look at these and discuss them. I think the lake boards are cut and dry. I mean, that's in your territory. That's the person you should be on. Thursday. First one we come to is the finance committee. And on that, we've got Marlene, Gabe, and myself. I'm the only one that's been on it, so I will stay on that, just so everybody gets up, to speed, that'd be easier.
You have
Marlene and-
to vote here.
Oh, okay, I guess I have to. Gabe and Marlene, are you okay with that one?
Sure.
And Clark County Collaborative Council. Lori's the go-to person, and Samantha's the alternate.
Mhm.
Need to appoint one more person.
No, we already have that. On the county collaborative.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay,
On the-
Northern Michigan Max, we've got you on that, Gabe. Does that work for you?
I'll make it work.
Okay, because the mileage is still in effect, even though that one's a ways away.
It's in Grayling.
Right. Yeah. Solid Waste Committee. Rick, are you good still being on that? Samantha, good? David?
Works for me.
Okay. And 8 kind of fits in with 7. Are you good with that one also? Dave, you good with the airport?
I am. I just like to ask, is there anyone else can be on it? Because, my understanding, the airport advisory board is null and void because the agreement with City of Harrison, East Township is no longer in effect.
I guess that's something we could probably adapt later on.
Okay.
I have obviously seen some passion with you about the airport. So maybe as you keep us updated and you need help or more people on there,
As long as it's open to increase that advisory. board,
It's open to
being a
increase it.
Board of one is probably not.
no, I agree. But I feel that, Hayes Township, city, everybody should get involved too. And
So something we can discuss.
we can amend that as needed.
It's something we're gonna have to address, soon,
Yeah.
as far as the airport goes.
Okay. Public Works, I will stay on that. Brownfield, Dale? Eastern Michigan Council of Governments and Red Team, Lori, that's you.
Yes.
Mid-State Health Network, George, you good with that?
Sure.
Michigan Works, I will stay on that. George, will you be an alternate?
Yep.
It is in West Branch, is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. Transit Services, Marlene, you're on that, is that good?
Yeah, no problem. Do they provide supper at 5:30 in the night?
Well, Tom's right here, we can ask him.
I'm sorry to you.
Yes, if you provide supper.
We can. I can cook for you.
I'm used to a man cooking.
David, does the action agency work for you?
Yep.
George, mental health,
Yes.
I heard you volunteered for that.
Yes.
Health Department. Me and Dale, I will stay with that one. Center on Aging is Mike Tobin, didn't we okayed for him to continue on with
Yes,
that?
I would like you to. Is Marlene okay being the alternate for the mission?
Yes,
Okay. And Lori, would you explain that Sandy Bristol's on the Region 7 area for aging and the reasoning that we kept her on that, and she wants to be on it, so it's not, we're going against her will,
Right, Sandy Bristol has been on the advisory board for the state to our region, Area Agency on Aging, which is in Bay City, for quite some time. She's got a wealth of knowledge. It takes a long time to gain that, kind of knowledge. And I would request that she still continue to be on that advisory board. She was on that advisory board prior when she was not a commissioner. And it doesn't have to be a commissioner appointed to that position. And I would request that she continue to be on that position just because of her knowledge and what she has to offer for the seniors with Clark County. Does anybody,
And I'm good with that too, because she does a good job attending every meeting and is passionate about it, so.
How will she report what she learns there back to this board?
she reports it back to me monthly.
And then what's the pay on it, just mileage and per diem?
The state pays her, we don't pay her. Doesn't come out of ours.
MSU extension, we've got Marlene penciled in, is that fine, or
What all does that entail? What is,
quarterly meetings, it says, and the dates are, I guess, negotiated.
okay, that sounds fine.
Yes. And then hear a lot of passion on that, I noticed, Jack, do you wanna do the MSU extension? Meets 4 times a year,
Well, I can, I've been on it previously,
is that okay if you give that to Jack and kind of splits it up better than Marlene?
Sure.
but it
All right.
isn't.
Okay, liaison positions, senior services. I am good with that. Road commission, Gabe, you good with that?
Yes, I've been attending, so I'm fine going.
Good.
Yeah.
Veterans, you good with that, Gabe?
Yes, I am.
All right. Edco, I am good doing that. Stancy, you good with the Farwell Development Finance Authority?
There's somebody else that will call.
I can,
They meet in the afternoon, and it's just hard.
I can do it.
Why don't we put David on that then? Claire? Development Finance Authority, Rick, you good with that?
Yes, sir.
Medical Control Board. Dale? There's an alternate. Land Bank Authority, Marlene and George.
Yes.
I'm okay.
Okay. Broadband, David? Jack and Rick, you good with, building and maintenance?
Anything to handle Jack. Fine.
And Gypsy Moss? Jack?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine with that.
Aren't they spongy? So,
Can I just repeat, we have a change with MSU extension, Jack's gonna take that. Our local development finance authority is David Hoffling. And those are the changes,
Yeah.
is that correct?
all I got. Okay. Can I get a motion to accept the Clare County Board of Commissioners standing committees as presented with changes?
You missed one. You missed one on your.
Or,
Local Emergency Planning Commission and Local Planning Team.
We got that, David Hoff. Oh, wait,
Dale's been on that for years.
oh, we got it,
Okay, I didn't hear that mentioned.
LEPC,
OEPC now.
David Hoffman. Oh, okay, okay.
I think that was the one where David took the first one, and then you said the next one was hand in hand with.
right,
Oh, yeah.
seven and eight. Right, Jerry?
What's that?
7 and 8, I think we covered those.
LAPC and LPT.
Either way, I have a list in front of them.
Okay. All right,
Who is that?
David,
Okay.
got a motion, we got a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, with that being said, we want to wait till new business till we talk commissioner wages. Or we want to do something on that right now?
We still on board with it right now. We said we were gonna do it after the committee appointment.
Okay. Is there any more discussion to getting rid of the per diem and just adding to a straight wage for commissioners? I kind of feel that all the meetings were broke up. Except for maybe some people wanted something because they're passionate about it.
Revenue neutral.
It is, with about the exception of maybe $4,000. So. It's $118,000 for the Board of Commissioners budget right now.
So you're saying it would go to 122?
Potentially. And also depends on what your dues and subscriptions end up to also, so.
Is that budget based off 7 commissioners or not?
This budget, no, this is the new budget. Well, part of it is 7 commissioners till December, and then 9 commissioners from January through September. So I did the numbers for 9 commissioners, and there's a $4,000 difference.
Okay,
Up to you.
Need a motion.
if someone wants to make a motion, unless there's, yeah, we need a motion if we're gonna pursue this.
I'll make a
What's
motion.
that?
Yeah, but there's 2 more.
Right. I mean, is it sustainable?
Yeah. I mean, there's 9 commissioners, so there's gonna be 9 commissioners, whether you do the $12,000 a year or you do the $8,000 a year. If you do the $8,000 a year, you're still adding
Lori,
per
it's
diem.
actually 85 and then 92 for the chair.
Oh, yeah, 92 for the chair. So you're still adding all of the per diem for all of the commissioners. So by the time you take out the per diem and you add the per diem or account for it in the new wage, it's pretty much a wash. It's just easier for us.
How much labor is gonna save doing it this way? I mean, how much of a pain is it do the per diem, figuring it out?
You
figuring
guys are
pay?
pretty painful sometimes.
Right, can you speak up? We're having trouble hearing you now.
I said, how much labor is it gonna save, going to the flat fee?
I guess, I don't know, a few hours,
Is it a few hours already paid period or? I
Yeah.
mean,
probably.
So in the long run, it's gonna be a savings then. If it's a wash, financially, then for your figuring in the labor, it's gonna be a savings. Is that what I'm hearing?
It'll probably be even. I mean, no matter what, we've got an increase in the Board of Commissioners budget because we have 2 additional commissioners, so. It'll probably be a wash no matter what, even with the savings of time for us. But it's just something to think about. It's totally up to you.
You know what? Excuse me. I'd like to point out something, even though it looked like I only had 3 committee assignments. I have 4 townships I have to represent, so I'm gonna have some active meetings to go to. Just wanted to point that out if anybody thought that I wasn't being properly assigned.
Well, I feel if it streamlines it and it's the same price and it makes it easier for you. Yeah, it's a thing looking at the committee assignments and I mean, I'm sure it's not exactly even, but everybody's got something to do on there and so. I feel we can at least vote on it, see what everybody has to say. And we have to do it this meeting if we're gonna do it, correct?
Yes.
So it's not like we can table this and think about it. And everything else got to change first meeting of the year. When the new board comes out.
Unless the majority of the board wants to make it a different time, but
This has been discussed before, right?
I don't think so.
No,
It's never been discussed. before.
it now. Not my tenure.
It's been discussed between me and Lori because how much aggravation causes her with the sheets coming in at different times and people get busy, don't fill them out. It goes into this month and they gotta backtrack it and everything else. I'm probably one of the worst offenders, to be honest with you. So I get yelled at quite a bit.
As long as it's not an increase in budget, I would move we make that change.
there's already a motion on. the
Oh, there is?
table.
Okay.
Who made it? Dale?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, there's not been a second.
You said.
I would tell you.
Any more discussion?
So flat rate at 12,000 for all commissioners, 12,500 for the chair.
Correct. No per diem.
No per
Per
diem.
diem's included in the wage.
So it doesn't matter how many meetings you go to, you're gonna get paid a flat fee.
Yep.
And you'll get mileage to and from the county courthouse, the county building. to
Or you do
your
not
house.
get, you do not get per diem, or you don't get mileage coming to board meetings, but you do for all your other meetings
And then from home of record or from the county building.
from your house.
Any more discussion? Roll call.
Radowski.
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Ambrositis.
Yes.
Hankin,
Yes.
Copeland.
Yeah.
Feinhardt,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Pittsburgh. Haskell,
Yes,
motion carried.
I'd look good if I said no. Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes?
Make the motion that we approve the board of commissioners minutes for December 14th, 2022.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Who's second? I'm sorry.
Rick.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Opposed? Okay, has everybody had a chance to review the closed session minutes from November 23rd? So can I have a motion to accept those?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Please
Opposed?
pass
Motion
those
passed.
back to me.
Mr. Chairman, are we done with the board rules?
We probably need to back up to that, you're right.
I'd like to discuss having a committee of the whole meeting again.
Say that again?
I'd like to discuss having a committee of the whole meeting. The board rules indicate that in 2014, we did away with that. The previous board said that we didn't need to have that meeting. And I think it's incumbent upon this board to conduct our business in view of the public. So the committee of the whole is where we have that ability to discuss matters that are pertinent to this county, to this board. And I think that it would be prudent on us to have that meeting at least a week before this one, where we can discuss it and then move it to this meeting to decide. I think it'd be prudent. So I would ask for discussion on that, Mr. Chairman.
Well, let's discuss it. Okay with that. I do hear from other counties that they are out to half and half, some do it, some don't.
I know it's another meeting. I understand that,
But you won't have to get paid for it now.
but you're getting a flat rate.
And what topics would you think we would discuss there? What we want on the agenda? Issues we think we need to take care
I
of?
think that there's a lot of the department heads are here and they have issues that they need us to opine on, to provide them the oversight and the guidance. You know, whether it's a purchase for the sheriff's department, or there's another position in the prosecutor's office, whether it's some, additional position in the clerk's office. You know, if we only go once a month to provide decisions, I think that's too slow. We need to be here to provide that for them before.
In the past, we've given the administrators the ability to approve certain things. We granted the permission to the administrator to approve certain things. And that was one of the reasons why we decided not to go with committee of the whole in years past, because of the ability for the administrator to make some of those decisions that we've been making as committee of the whole.
I'm not against it. What would you think? We meet the last Wednesday of the month? Gabe, is that what you're thinking, or?
1 to 2 weeks before this meeting. So to provide that time for not only decisions to be made, but also for us to do our research as individual commissioners. So if a proposal is made by, whether it's a citizen or a department head or even the administrator, I'm being required then to immediately vote on it,
Or wait till the following month.
or I have to wait another 30 days. And I don't think that's the proper way for us.
I
to
think
do it.
we've started doing that, waiting 30 days, just because of that reason. It sprung on us. We don't, it's an important enough decision that we
Right.
hold off because we don't want to make a snap decision. So maybe that would get rid of some of that,
It would.
you know?
And it gives some predictability for the department heads. They know now you need to bring stuff to the committee of the whole. And then depending on what we feel, whether it needs to go to the,
It may even streamline this meeting a little bit.
I believe that.
I think it would be helpful as an administrator, and a department head, being a former department head. I feel that it would be helpful to be able to have a committee of the whole, and then have a board meeting to vote on items. There are things that come in there, there are grant agreements that come in, there are items that, just need to be informed so that you can go on to a board meeting and have it as an action item and vote on it. And that is something I do believe would be helpful as a county.
Just sitting here listening, I hear several pros and only one con, an additional meeting. Is there any other cons of having additional meeting?
Only thing I would say would be a con is if I know a lot of other counties, they do it in the morning and then have their board meeting in the afternoon, and they say that you're just ready to get out of there. And I think 2 weeks before, I think it's a good idea.
I appreciate what Mateo said about giving, bringing some approval authority to the administrator, but I think it only goes so far when there's certain things that we have to be part of.
I didn't mean that as a comment.
I like the idea.
Why doesn't someone make a motion to make that date? So
I will make a motion that we reinstitute committee of the whole meetings at a minimum of 1 week prior.
just make it the last Wednesday at 9 o'clock.
Last Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning.
I'll second.
Got a motion, we got a second. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay,
Okay, so. I need
that's
to-
2 amendments to the agenda we have, or not the agenda, the board rules. Any other discussion on the board rules?
What time would that meeting be?
9. Okay, so we need a motion to adopt the rules of the board of commissioners with changes.
I'll make the motion with the changes to the board rules.
I second.
Motion second. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay. General public comment, you got me out there? I don't. Any comment?
I just have to make a clarification. So I need to bring something to the board, or you need to have it 2 weeks ahead, so you can have it a week for the.
Everything no, Tom, not necessarily.
Okay.
So like how you did it this last time with what you needed as far as resolutions, as long as I have the information, the Wednesday at noon prior to the board meeting, the week before the board meeting, as long as I have it, and I can, you know, make exceptions or whatnot, then I can put the information together for the board and get it to the board. Some of these things, we can still do it all the same way. I can make those,
But I didn't know if the other board needed to have it be.
No.
no,
Okay.
no.
I think the big reason for this is kind of what Gabe touched on, is that Michelle needs another person in her office, and then she comes to the board. And we're sitting there, first time we ever heard of it, well, we're gonna table this till next month. If it's here earlier, sheriff's department's running low on personnel, can we hire somebody? Well, this first we ever heard of it, so hopefully this will get rid of that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you for bringing it to the whole,
Sure, yeah,
Bring it to the table. So he's asking a week before for the whole meeting to bring it to you. Is that the question?
no, you don't need to. I mean, the things that like what you have on the agenda for today, that does not, I don't believe that needs to come to the committee. Those are, you know, operations that we have done, you know, and established with the transit for years.
I just want you to be happy.
I'm happy. And then if the commissioners have questions on it, you know,
Yes, Bill.
I just wanted to introduce myself to the members of the board. I'm one of your road commissioners, Bill Simpson. I also have just one update for you today. We have changed our meeting days. We are now on the first and third Tuesdays, beginning of the first of the year. We're having so many conflicts with meetings. We're gonna try a new day. So our meetings are now gonna be at 8 o'clock in the morning on the first and third Tuesdays.
So Gabe, that's
Got it.
June, all right?
Got it.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Joe. Yes, Mike.
Just like to bring a concern up to the county if we could. That's our ambulance service. Listen to the scanner at home. It's almost a daily event where they call for an ambulance. The ambulance is coming from Mount Pleasant or Elma. On Sunday, we had a stroke call over here on Manside. The ambulance checking service from Aranet County. Something got to be done. There was a call. I'm sure Dale knows about it over in Freeman Township here a month or so ago. Hour and 22 minutes waiting on an ambulance, the guy died before the ambulance got there. This is happening more and more. Something's got to happen. I got it this last weekend. They had a guy overdosing at the North Interchange of Harrison. Ambulance is coming from Mount Pleasant. This is part 2 of the problem. Ambulance gets 3/4 of the way there. And by the time they get there, they've been given two doses of Narcan. Patient refuses service. And you just ran an ambulance from Mount Pleasant to almost north into Harrison to refuse service. That ambulance could have been going to someplace else. I talked to the prosecutor's office, and I guess we've got a law change where you can't prosecute that person because they called for help. But when you're helping these people 2 or 3 times a week with Narcan, something got to do. County don't have personnel for it. The ambulance service doesn't have personnel for it. What can we do as a county to get an ambulance service in here?
I talked to some people about that before. It's not that this is the first we've heard. In fact, there's some people working on it now, or it's to their attention where they're starting to work on it and trying to figure out what would be the best way to improve that for Clark County. Just starting up an ambulance service. When I heard some of the numbers that it would be is, kind of astronomical, it really was. But also I think part of the problem is we don't pay for a contract with MMR. So I don't know, I've heard a lot of different things about it, but it probably would be something to actually look into. I agree.
And I have a friend who works for an ambulance service who said that their service, MedStar, would entertain a conversation with the county if the county was looking to do something. I know Isabella County has reached out to them as well. When you're listening, like I said, when you've got an ambulance coming from Aranet County on a stroke, chances are that person's not going to make it either.
No, it's a very good point. It is. I don't have a ton of answers for you right now. I wish I had more,
And I didn't expect the answers, but I guess I'm just asking that the board look into it. Like I said, there are, I talked to, like I said, a gentleman from MedStar who works there and said that he went to their CEO and they will entertain a conversation with the county. But something they want to have.
Star,
Bay City,
is it,
well, they're all over, but they're
right?
Bay City South. And
The concerns are out there. In my township meetings, the township boards have had citizens come to them with the same concern about the ambulance service and the response times.
I didn't care, I mean, listening to Skinner, it's more and more on a daily event. You know, they're bringing Osceola, they're bringing Gladwin, they're bringing Benton Township ambulances into the county to cover for MMR. And the problem that I see with that, having been in the law enforcement world for as long as I was, is it doesn't sound like MMR is contacting the dispatch saying, we have no units, can you get a hold of Osceola, Gladwin, Roscommon and bring an ambulance down closer to us? They're getting a call and all of a sudden we don't have anybody to send you. So now your response time is coming from Reed City or coming from Gladwin or wherever. It doesn't sound like there's communication amongst the dispatch, letting them know that we don't have a rig for you right now. You might want to pull one from someplace else to get closer to you. There's a breakdown of communications there as well. I don't have to deal with that. But that's you guys.
Well, maybe we'll research that.
Well, and along that line too is, I know MMR struggling with
Personnel.
personnel. Can't get people.
Them, like everybody, yeah. Thank you, Mike. Any other public comment? Everybody look at the communications list, any questions, comments?
I have the MMRMA annual report here. Anybody wants to review it? Maybe.
Administrators report.
Okay, although the recent trend of the growth of the state revenue, which is expected to stay near or above 15 billion through at least fiscal year 2025, additional investments in county revenue sharing or other heavy burdens that counties carry has gone on the back burner since the change of our legislature. Counties are going to have to fight harder to convince legislators to make investments in county services. Opioid dollars may start coming in the end of January, although there has been some guidance on how the money is to be spent. Additional information is still to come. What we know is these funds are coming from separate lawsuits. There are still several settlements pending. Each settlement has different reporting requirements for us. And these funds are to be used for evidence-based prevention. So we have to create and submit a strategic plan on how the money will be spent. And I'm hoping to have a plan to you by February meeting, and a list of potential programs that will qualify for the funds. We will need to focus on prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery. And then MAC, the Michigan Association of Counties, has established their legislative priorities for the upcoming year. Just a few of them I want to touch on. Revamping the Open Meetings Act to allow for pre-pandemic virtual participation in meetings. Another platform is the Revenue Sharing Trust Fund, which is, revenue sharing is the most flexible form of state aid to counties, which makes it the most effective method to fund generational investments in public services with the decisions made here locally. The legislation will seek to create a statutory earmark of the state sales tax, and that money will be deposited into the fund, and it would stay in the fund for distribution to counties, cities, villages, and townships, and then not lapse to the state general fund at the end of each fiscal year. The money in the fund would be split with 50% going to county revenue sharing and 50% going to cities, villages, and townships. And then another priority platform is implementing the trial court funding commission's recommendations for a more equitable and stable funding mechanism for our tribal courts. MAC will also be pushing for the compensation to local governments for funds diverted by the Veterans Property Tax Exemption. Since 2013, the enactment of the Disabled Veterans Property Tax Exemption, which is supported by MAC. Counties have sought for reimbursement from the state for that loss of revenue. And let's see, another priority I want to highlight is the revamping of the personal property tax exemption to provide annual reimbursement to local governments. As part of the economic development deal struck at the end of 2021, the legislature and governor enacted an increase for the personal property tax exemption for small business, thereby reducing revenue to local governments by 75 million each year. This exemption begins this year without a defined method for reimbursement for local governments that receive the PPT funds. And that is all I have for you for my legislative update.
Thank you. Any questions for Lori?
Yeah, any idea what the dollar amount would be of loss of revenue for that, for the personnel?
No, because it has gone down. So I'd have to look at that.
Okay,
I'd have to look and get you an answer.
but it will be a loss for us.
Oh, significant, yes.
So they're just gonna pull that away? Where's that going? Or they're not going to tax them on it?
They're just not, right now, they're replacing it somewhat. They're replacing a portion of it to the counties. But it's going away and they're not replacing it to counties. They have no method in place for that replacement.
Well, they increased the revenue sharing, did they not?
They did increase.
Did they figure this in there?
No, this was not figured in there. So they increased the revenue sharing, which increased only for this year. So it was for the end of last year, 22, and then 23, and that was by 5%. But that's set to expire too. There's a sunset on that at the end of this year. So we don't know what's gonna happen.
The last I seen, they had a $10.9 billion surplus at the state level. So I mean, you know, that's a little bit over our head, but any reason they would be cutting that?
I don't know. I know that our level of funding from the state, with the exception of the increase in the revenue sharing, which comes to about $46,000 a year, our level of revenue sharing is at the same level it was in about 2012. And that state had a surplus of 8 billion, and now they're at 15 billion. And so we haven't increased, nor other counties have increased in their revenue sharing, even though the state has increased in what they have in their revenue. So, and maybe that's something Gabe can discuss at the MAC, the Northern MAC meetings that he's gonna be going to.
Okay, any other questions? Jerry Becker.
Yes.
You're up.
Hi, good morning. I'll be over here where I can see everybody. You all got a copy of the hazard mitigation plan that we've been working on for about the last 18 to 20 months. And 200 and some pages long. It's a big document. We do it every 5 years now, starting this year or next year. They're going to move it to a 6-year plan. So we're hoping that our plan that's going to be approved shortly goes to 6 years, and we won't have to do this as often. We asked for 10 years, but the federal government denied us. So we got 6 anyways instead of 5. The process takes almost 2 years to do. And so it seems like as soon as we get it done, we're starting again. And so that's why we obviously asked for, longer period for the plan to be good for. The plan is up starting today on a 30-day review public. It's on our website and the public can view it and look at it. It's actually been up for over a week now. So if there's any additions, changes to the plan that anybody has, please forward them to my office. And then I'll forward them over to Bill Arnett at MCOG, who is our contractor that's working on this. So 30-day review. Michigan State Police have had it for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. They've been reviewing it and offering some minor suggestions, some wordsmithing. And then after the 30-day review, then it'll come back. If it's approved by Michigan State Police, you'll approve it as a board, and then it'll go off to FEMA for approval. And we want this process to all be completed before April 1st, because on April 1st, the feds have decided they're going to completely dump the existing program and start all over again. So basically, if we don't have our plan approved by then, we would be out. We would have to start all over again, and we don't want to do that. So this will be approved before April 1st. So the townships are aware of this. I sent it out to all the townships. They have a copy of it. I've asked for their input. I was at Hayes yesterday. They've had some input to it, to some revisions. So take a look at it. I know it's a big document. It's a lot of meat there to read. But if you have any suggestions or any things that are incorrect, with quite a few things, please forward them over to me and I'll get them in for correction. So questions? Okay, sorry about the size of the doc. That's actually a summary version of the document. It's actually bigger than that. I didn't send you all the meeting information that was involved in it. So
It's like a lot of work. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. So.
All right, thanks, Jerry. Marlene, you read that motion?
Clare County Central Dispatch motion to approve the citizen relate representation. Jeff, I don't know how to say his last name. Ushis to the 911 advisory board for a 2-year term beginning January of 2023.
Motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Dave, would you take transit MDOT resolutions? Sorry about that.
Motion to approve resolution of intent 23-01 to apply for financial assistance for fiscal year 2023 to 2024 for Clark County Public Transportation Program. Contract resolution fiscal year 2023-24, number 23-02, which allows Tom Driscoll, Clark County Transit Director, to execute contracts with MDOT which are $2,662,000 or less. Resolution authorizing adoptions and ratification of contract quality certification 23-02, which governs 03, which governs how any transit project requirements apply, and such clauses apply to all federally funded contracts with FT 2023 to 2024, and resolution adoption and ratification of Public Act 51, maintain an accessibility plan with MDOT. Number 23-04, addressing accessibility for all residents.
Motion, we got a second? Tom, you want to talk at all about this?
If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to discuss that.
Not yet. Do anybody second that?
I'll second.
Okay, but I think maybe for a few of the new board members, because it was brought up earlier by you, maybe explain what we're doing.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to take up too much right now at the time. Clark County Transit is a nonprofit organization. We contract with the county to provide public transportation. The county acts as a pass-through for the money that we get from the state, both federal and state taxes. So we do nothing. The board is here for me for authorization to get that approved to the state. So we have our own board of directors. We take no funds from the county with the exception of the millage that's passed. So I welcome anybody who want to know more about the transit to come out. I have to give you a tour, especially a representative on the transit board. I'd like to spend some time with you so you get more of that idea. I will say we're having the same problem everybody has with personnel. I can't buy a driver. I can hire 7 drivers right now. We can find them. That and the cost of buses are going up. They've probably gone up 70% over last year. So a bus that costs $115,000, now about 170 or 80. The good news about the busing is that the state of Michigan is one of the few states that will help pay for those buses. So the federal government paid 80% of the bus. The state of Michigan will pay 20% of the bus. That's paid 80. Not many states do that. So every transit agency has to raise their own money to cover the 20%. And that's a lot of donuts and cops and donuts to try to pay for one bus. So that's just one of the idiosyncrasies that we have in favor in Clark County, that they do pay for 20% of it. There is a capital plan that we put together every year. This application is for 18 months out, 2024. So we get the crystal ball out and see how much fuel is going to be, and all that sort of stuff. So it's a guesstimate, but it's the best one we got. And if you care to hear more about it, please let me know. I'd be happy to stay after the meeting.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, sir.
Who's got a roll call?
Because I have to do money.
Roll call, please.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Hausler,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Ambrositis,
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Bankin,
Yes.
Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Majeski,
Yes.
Haskell,
Yes.
motion carried.
Matthew, you take the first statutory finance committee motion?
Motion to approve the statutory finance committee meeting minutes of December 12th, 2022, in the amount of $96,033.34, and December 27th, 2022, in the amount of $92,729.95, and the minutes of January 9th, 2023, in the amount of $127,223.51.
We got a second? Roll call, please.
Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Majeski,
Yes.
Bankin,
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Hausler,
Yes.
Ambrositis,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Haskell,
Yes.
motion carried.
Dale?
Sure. Approve the expenditures of the month of December 2022 in the amount of $1,930,635.17 for the general fund expenditures totaling $936,369.19.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Lori.
Majeski,
Yes.
Ambrositis,
Yes.
Bankin,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Hausler,
Yes.
Pittsburgh, Haskell,
Yes.
motion carried.
Gabe, you take C?
Budget adjustments, motion to approve budget adjustment 23-36 in the amount of $103,094.61.
That's right,
To be distributed. Is that the correct number?
is that the right number?
Oh, yeah, sorry, forget the 2 zeros on the end. $103,094.61 in the budget adjustments here.
Chairman, would you like me to repeat?
Nope, we're good, Gabe.
I'll second.
Motion second, roll call, please.
Ambrositis,
Yes.
Majeski.
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yeah.
Bankin,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Hausler,
Yes.
Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Haskell,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay. Lori, got anything for us?
I'm just going to give another quick overview in case anyone missed it last month. I don't remember. Was everybody here last month when I gave an overview on elections? You were? Okay, then I don't have to do that. The only other new,
I don't think
Marlene wasn't?
Marlene wasn't here. I don't think David was here.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
George, you were here.
So there were some changes to election law with proposal 22-2, and I won't go into detail of all of it, but some of the main concerning items are early voting. So now we're, as a county, we're required to have 9 days of early voting. I'm in the process of figuring out what that's going to look like. I formed a small committee. We're throwing around ideas. I'm going to have a clerk meeting this month to discuss it a little further. We're still awaiting instruction from Bureau of Elections. We have a conference scheduled in February, which is on the agenda to discuss the changes there. They haven't given any direction up to this point because they've been busy with the November election and then the recount. Now we're moving into audits, post-election audits, so they haven't had any time to even look at it. So we're going to do that in November. I, on the other hand, chose not to wait to see what they're going to, how they're going to direct us. Put a committee together with them discussing it. For our small county, it looks like the only option we're going to have is going to be consolidated election, where everyone comes to one place for 9 days prior to the election and votes, versus all 18 jurisdictions having their own 9 days of early voting. I think that would be very heavy on the budget for all the townships. So in the coming months, I will be talking to you about what that's going to cost, what it's going to look like, who's going to pay for it. So that's something that decisions you'll be making regarding the budget and the finance of all of that. So I've spoken with Lori, we've met. I told her my plan, we're going to work together on that and present something to you hopefully next month. Maybe at the committee of the whole, we'll present it, so you have time to think about it prior to the meeting. Another thing that is a little concerning is, which doesn't affect us, but it affects the whole state, is absentee voting. Now you can fill out an absentee application once, and that's good forever. In the past, you have to fill out an application each time you want an absentee ballot. You have to ask for an absentee ballot. Now you ask for it once, and they just mail you a ballot every election after that. So you don't have to ask for it again. So that's concerning to me as a clerk, but we will deal with it and make it work. In our county, our clerks do inspect every signature. So when you mail back your absentee ballot, you have to sign the outside of the envelope. And our clerks do look at that signature and compare it to the signature on file. Larger cities and other counties, they may not have the staff to do that. So, but in our county, our clerks do that. I will say that with the even already, just the beginning of the year, the added responsibilities that are coming have put hardship on my office. The elections alone is overwhelming. Yesterday, we had, I believe, 6 recall applications filed. I've already started programming the May election. Now we have to proceed with recall applications and go through that process. Gearing up for the May election and conduct businesses as usual, plus all the FOIAs that come with elections now. So it's different today than it was even 2 years ago. So just to let you know how things are working in our office. That's my update right now. Does anyone have any questions on any of that? I could talk for hours.
6 recall petitions already?
Yeah. For one township.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Jenny.
Good morning. I have handed out earlier too, you should have 3 financial documents. The 2 of them are statutory documents I developed, and then the long one is This is, for the newer ones that are here today. It has these are actual numbers, not budget numbers, and they're every fund balance that we've had since 2009. And it gives you an idea of where we have ended, and some of the key points of where our key revenues come from and some of the expenditures. So the main point of this is showing, the 2022 budget is in the middle of an audit. And this is where it is the, until we get audit adjustments, of course. And so preliminarily, we have ended with a surplus of 1.2 million this year, added on to our fund balance from last year, which is about 3.1 in unassigned fund balance. So this is great news for us. We've been working hard to try to get our fund balance up. And the other one, which is helpful when you're making decisions now, is the current cash and fund balance. This is as of yesterday. It is the current cash balances and all, and the fund balances and all the funds that we have. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to come and talk to me so I can tell you about all of the funds. Also in the treasurer's offices across the county, there's a lot of deadlines coming up. And there is, besides the current taxes that are due and payable to the townships and the cities, we have in my office delinquent taxes that are about to go into forfeiture, which means they're going to hit with quite a bit of fees. We just sent notices out for those, and then the looming foreclosure for people that haven't paid taxes in almost 3 years. We unfortunately have to foreclose, but we work really hard to not foreclose. So my office reaches out. We make phone call after phone call. We try to reach out and send letters to people that are in danger. We have hearings, and we also allow them to come and talk to us. I can extend. I can't exempt any of the taxes, but I can extend if they can make payments. We just had our show cause hearing. Not many showed up for, but I still, through March 31st, if they come and see me, we'll work with them. There is a judicial foreclosure hearing February 9th. It's the next one coming up in front of the circuit court judge at 9 in the morning, and they can also ask for an extension from the judge. But if you guys are the closest to the taxpayers, if you hear of anybody that is having any trouble, please come to my office. We have great organizations that we're working with to try and help as well. And that's it for me, unless anyone has any questions.
What was the date for that, Aaron?
February 9th. It's a Thursday at 9 in the morning.
Are they up or down?
They have been down. They have been down. This last year was the lowest we've had. We've only had 30. And most of those out of the 30, 19 of them were deceased. But there's, we reach out to heirs as much as we can.
Good.
Yeah, very good.
Anybody else got any questions for Jenny? Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Thank you.
Welcome back to the old board members and welcome to the new ones. I look forward to getting to know you and working with all of you. Before I give most of my report, I'd like to introduce to you our new assistant prosecutor, Aaron Fortier, who's here with us today. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself.
Hi, everybody. I've met some of you. My name's Aaron, I'll be behind you. How's everybody doing? So I, as Michelle said, I'm the new assistant prosecutor. I'm going on my 5th year as a licensed attorney. I actually started my career in Florida as prosecutor. So I'm very happy to be back home. I'm originally from Gaylord. Tremendous opportunity here. I'm very excited that Michelle was gracious enough to extend the opportunity for me to come back. So I can't wait to work with all of you, work with Michelle, and get to know everybody.
Welcome. So I've been working with our case tracking system to establish a case report. So I can kind of give you an update on how many events we go to, how many cases we have. We're still trying to work the bugs out, but I ran the report just for the first 17 days of January. We currently have 904 open pending cases. that are in the system as of yesterday. 42 cases came in for review the first 17 days of January. 25 of those 42 cases were charged, 5 were declined, 12 are still in review. Also during that time frame, 27 additional cases that had been submitted in 2022 that were still pending review were reviewed and declined. We had 17 cases reviewed by the multidisciplinary team at the Child Advocacy Center. We have had approximately 12 cases reviewed on the recovery court that's already occurred this month. And the events we have attended 138 circuit court events, 114 district court events, and 14 events in family court already this year. We finished up our final report for the 2018 opioid grant that we had. Jale, who we hired underneath the grant position to come on and help us administer the grant, do the final reportings. She put that report together along with our research partner, so we can have that complete. I can share that with the administrator, so she has it, and then any of you who are interested in looking at it can get with her to grab that. So when you're talking about how you're going to spend the opioid settlement money, and I hear that we need it for education and programs and those things, please reach out to us because we have 3 years worth of data that we've collected that could be of use in forming your plans for additional programs that we need. And Jale and Dr. Candy would be good resources to reach out to. Dale was our investigator. Dale Hugel, he retired January 4th. And so that position is open in our current 2020 grant. Since the grant funding is only through 2023 September, I don't know that we're going to be able to find somebody to fill that position. We were working with the sheriff's department and the administrator to see if we could find monies to fund that. I don't think we're going to be able to. So I am now looking to amend our federal grant to allow us to contract with a private investigator to fill that hole till the end of September 2023. So that is in the works. And we just have to get it approved through the federal government to ensure that we can go that out. And that is all I have.
Of course you can.
Michelle, can you clarify for everybody? The child advocacy cases are in addition to the 904 open cases that all of the union attorneys have to tend to, and all of the recovery court cases are also in addition.
Some of the cases on the MDT are in addition because they aren't actually active cases for us to review yet. So some of those cases are, the children have come to the center, they've done their interview, and it's still pending investigation. And as long as it's pending investigation, we still have to review that case at the multidisciplinary team every month when we meet. So yes, it's, some are over and above the 904 that are already open. And then you had another question, the recovery court. Yeah. Recovery court is cases that we have put through, that we have requested to be sent to recovery court. And so we're on those cases longer than what we normally would be, because once somebody's sentenced, unless there's a violation, we aren't involved in that case again. But with the recovery court, we continue to be involved in the case until they graduate from recovery court or they're sentenced because they've watched that. You're welcome. And I want to extend the invitation to anybody. If you want to come to our office, see what we do, you can do. It's not as exciting as a ride along with the sheriff's department or other police, but you can come do a ride along with us. And we'll pair you with either myself or another attorney in the office. You can follow us around, see what we do for a day. It is not as exciting as Law and Order or CSI, but you do get to see how we operate. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. John.
I like that, ride along.
Welcome to the new commissioners. I'm just gonna go over some quick stats. I don't have them all broke down, but eventually I'll have them all broke down, then I'll email them to you. And then, so you can see them for the perspective townships individually and the county as a whole. So in 2022, our central dispatch loaded 35,386 incidences. You don't have to write it down. I'll get it to you unless you want to. 35,386. Of those, my office handled 21,143. ACO we loaded 627, so I don't know her true numbers if they go do an event or something like that, but those are numbers we load for you when you go on a complaint. And we talked it over prior to that, we didn't load a lot of incidences, but I said to Rudy, we need to know where you're at because of the times, and if something's going down, then we can get there, so. Clear PD, 7,526, DNR 73. Take that number lightly because the DNR does a lot of stuff that we don't know about. They're off in their own world doing that stuff. MSP handled 2,124 total fire calls. And that includes rescue and fire, 9,500 file class, 1,536 for the county. That's just your fire departments. Emergency management, I don't know how we ended up with that on there, but I have 9 incidences for you. Jerry does way more than 9 incidences a year, but MMR ambulance had 2,334 runs in our county. I had road commission as 14 where we call them out to come and help us out at a scene or something like that, like an accident or we need traffic control or salt or something put down. We currently have 69 local inmates, 50 feds and 1 diverted felons. We've been staying pretty much over the 50 number, up to 55 sometimes. Personnel, I have 3 in the academy right now, so that means I'm 3 down on the road. I just had another deputy resign. He went to Midland County. He lives in Midland County. I have a school liaison officer who's leaving, pretty sure that Farrell Schools wants him to be the dean of students there, so you can't blame him for doing that. It's a good job to go to. I have 4 off right now on medical for the road. So if you're adding these numbers up, I'm about 8 people down on the road right now. 2 should be back within a week. MSP has dedicated us a car on midnights. They put a 2-man car up here to help us out. We short shift our day shift. We pick up the staff what is needed to during the day to make sure the guys on night, girls at night have enough coverage there too with our contract cars. I want to thank Lori, Jody, and Joy Lynn. I always call her Joy Lynn. They've been phenomenal in working with us. I apologize. Sometimes some of my employees come over because it's a misunderstanding of what they don't understand about insurances and stuff like that. But that happens. So we're moving forward. We have 2 openings in central dispatch. And if you can believe it, I think Marlena told us we had over 20 applicants. So, which is good. I mean, I wish I had 20 applicants for the road, but I don't. So that's all I have. Dwayne, do you have anything to add to that? Okay. Any questions for me?
2 positions in central dispatch is all.
Yeah,
Better share the making.
we're losing 1 that's going to DHS. And then we have a couple or so that are we know are gonna probably retire here within the next 6 months. So I'd like to put 3 on, but I don't have the money to hire 3 and train them. I don't have enough people to train 3 at one time, but we definitely want to get 2 more on there. So of all the departments and even the jail, I think we're only 1 down the jail. The jail's good with personnel. Central dispatch should be good once we get these other couple people on. Nobody wants to do law enforcement. So my youngest son does, but I said I can't hire you. So.
John, I see this morning there where they're going to release quite a large amount of funding for school safety down to are you gonna, it sounds like it's gonna be a permanent funding for them to hire an officer and dedicate them strictly to the schools.
I think a lot of that should help us, but a lot of that is for places that don't have them. And right now, what we do with the schools is they fund a partial of that officer's time that they spend in the school during the year, and then the county funds the other part, because we do use those officers to help out on the road too a little bit, so.
So it's not gonna help us then much?
It should, but we gotta find someone to put in there
Yeah,
too,
well,
and it's a
that's-
unique position, you know.
They said that would be the problem, finding people to hire.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you doing this next winter?
Yeah, get the carry.
There's a little generation gap.
Get the carry it done and.
If you raise your right hand.
It's just rookie.
Any other questions?
After you hire
the people you need out of the 20 applicants, could you send me the resume?
Yeah, you might not want them. Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Thanks, John. Haven't had many meetings, so I've got nothing to report there over the holidays. I'm like to welcome the new commissioners, and I just got one thing to share with the new commissioners and a little advice that I learned the hard way when I first got on. Some of the decisions we make for a certain group here does affect the whole county. Wages, benefits, that type of thing, so I feel we did a great job the last 2 years of looking at the county as a whole, instead of just making the snap decision for one group. I felt that was very important, so I got burnt a lot when I first started, so I just wanted to share that. Other than that, I love the new boardroom, except for the big screen TVs. I gotta look at myself, so I don't like that.
Rick is the one that's suffering.
He's been focused all day.
You know, welcome to the new commissioners. Not a whole lot going on right now, just getting into the new townships and stuff like that, and, sorry to see the old townships go, but I'm sure Martin will take care of, those. Just welcome aboard and looking forward to the new year.
There we go. Marlene, you have anything you want to share with us?
Just, I'm excited to be here and I'm learning a lot already, even though this is my first meeting. I learned how to read again. And I'm just looking forward to the township meetings. Got big shoes to fill for my townships because Dale was on them and I'm taking over for him. And it's going to be challenging.
Just leave on with that, Dave.
Yeah, just about that much.
For people, you'll be just fine.
Yeah, thank you.
David, welcome back.
Thank you very much. I have 3 township meetings. Looking forward to it. Hamilton had some concerns about internet access, and AT&T is apparently removing the landline phones here. So I believe there was a letter in the packet about that, so I need to keep an eye on that situation. Winterfield was working on their road projects. They approved the new contracts that you guys sent them, so they're excited to see what's ahead there. And Frost last night was short, sweet, and to the point. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Amanda?
I don't have anything.
All right. Gabe?
I really have nothing to add other than I've been going to the road commission meetings, been to the Hayes Township meeting, and I look forward to the airport board.
All right, George?
Sheridan Township. They had a good idea at their meeting. They're being a little proactive about passing ordinances against commercial solar energy farms. And that's gonna, they hope, help keep Consumers Energy or DTE from being able to do what they call the adverse possession. Yeah, to obtain their property for what they want. And I think some of the other townships may want to consider something similar. Because anytime they do a land grab, it's not good.
So they can actually take that land from you without your.
Well, they're working on that at the governor's office right now to try to give the energy companies eminent domain to go in and just say, this is where we're gonna put our solar farm. We're gonna take your 40 acres and it's gonna be solar.
Wow.
So by passing an ordinance against the commercial solar farms, that township should be in pretty good shape. So the others may want to follow suit.
Which township did you say that was?
Sheridan.
Thank you. Jack?
If I could, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask Tom, who won the Michigan-Ohio State game? And I'd like to follow that up with how comes.
Sometimes that's bad. I agree to that.
How comes when Ohio State wins, you come in wearing red things and all that, and you're pretty quiet today?
That explains a lot about
That's
it.
okay. Okay, I can take it. I can hear the answer to that question.
I was down south and they were advertising for critical shortage nationwide of EMTs and ambulance people, and that's part of the problem that we're running into. They was advertising for police officers. So, you know, I don't know where everybody is, but every place I go or wherever, they're looking for help. So I don't know, where's everybody at?
Who knows?
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, Rick? I have nothing today. Okay, thank you, everybody. Anything to report on the state of the county budget?
Sure. So, we have total expenditures as of date, $3,924,243.02. So between last year and this year, we are $51,432.72 under budget, under where we were last year, so that's good. We're averaging $1,121,212 a month in expenditures, and that is taking into consideration the changes that have taken place, you know, the extra expenses that we've had. So that's where we are.
That's
currently.
well,
That's a
very
plus.
good. Any public comment?
Jeff, you guys are doing the room looks great, but you really need some audio.
Back there, you can't hear nothing?
I just emailed him about that.
Okay. It's gonna take some while to work the bugs out, I think.
Yeah,
Okay, we have no unfinished business, new
we
business.
do have some new business. This is just for me to pass out to you. We already discussed the commissioner wage per diem. I don't think the new commissioners are aware, but we've had some issues with our IT and breach in the past. You know, hopefully those have all been taken care of. We do have IT right involved. We do have certain criteria that we have to maintain with our IT for the state programs that we have. So I am in the process of drafting new IT policies, and I'm just gonna pass them to you for review. Okay, so that you can look at them and go over them, mark them up, and we can talk about them at the workshop or the committee of the whole, and then we can.
Need one.
No, I'm passing a whole packet.
Oh, sorry.
I'm passing a whole packet.
So what you handed me is a whole package?
So what I handed you is an entire packet.
Oh, okay, and a bag. Oh, I got that, you got that all.
I thought you were just handing them out.
Want me to help you, Lori?
I got three in the same one.
So do I.
Okay, let's start over.
Hand them all back.
Take that to Rick, give that to Jack, and give that to George.
Thank you.
And that's yours.
Well, thanks. That one.
Laura, I got one for you.
Acceptable use. Clean that. Web application.
I need this.
Disaster.
And remote. I need another web.
Acceptable use. Clean desk. Web.
Disaster remote.
Yeah, we did. Disaster recovery plan. We should have that because we had a disaster.
We need to figure that out. Let's do, why is that focus just, because you haven't been making any noise.
No, not all required to.
So usually the text noise.
Acceptable use.
There should be five. I have five.
There should be 5. There's more. It's all right. I didn't explain it well. Okay, so this is
Here, you
the
put
person.
that.
You're full.
Another thing for you to review, this is the First Amendment to the Transportation Service Agreement.
Just in case you forget.
So this is one packet, so you can just pass. Yep, pass it down.
Don't screw this one up, Jerry.
Just pass it
I said, don't
down.
screw this one up.
That one's just one for each person.
Pass one, pass these down.
One for each person?
Pass it down. Those are for you to review for our committee of the whole.
What did you just say now?
Those are for you to review for the committee of the whole, so that's your IT policies and the transportation service agreement for review. Tom's been working on that with his board. And those will be-
That's our homework.
That's your homework and your new business.
Okay. No closed session over. Anything else?
Oh, you don't have your demo.
Don't find it on the table.